Hello and welcome to a summary of the Rethink and Do Conference of 2014, Ethical Business. The Rethink and Do Conference is brought to you by Tracy Jones and Denise Oliver of Rethink and Do. Loads of money! Is this what business means to you? Harry Enfield's character shouting, "Loads of money!" whilst waving a wad of money. Well, I suppose it depends on how old you are, really. Or is it this? Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, who became a symbol for popular culture in the 1980s for unrestrained greed. Such is the impact of the film that modern-day financiers have been described as the children of Gordon Gekko. Just sit back for a minute and notice how you feel when you hear the full quote from the movie. Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies, cuts through, and captures the essence of the evolutionary spirit. Greed, in all of its forms, greed for life, for money, for love, knowledge, has marked the upward surge of mankind. How does that make you feel? Or this for those of you with young children. Mr. Carbuncle from Postman Pat, the movie, who says, "What matters is money," as he replaces lovable old Pat with the pathological Patbot. Or is it these investment bankers toasting their success with champagne? These guys were photographed celebrating a £1.7 billion bonus pot at Barclays Bank in 2010. You may recall that was in the midst of the recession. Or is it the corporate fat cat? We're surrounded by examples of corporate and personal greed and the concept that business is about making money at all costs. The brand of the word business has been tainted. And naturally, this leads many of us to believe that all business is unpleasant, corrupt, distasteful, or even evil. For therapists who come into the sector with the intention of helping people, this negative association with the word business has become a real problem. Many people believe that to be businesslike or to run a profitable business is at odds with their helping, caring intentions. We devised this conference to show you the different ways that this doesn't have to be true. Do you agree that it's important to have a professional relationship with your client, to treat them with respect, using the skills that you've trained to use with care? Do you agree that it's important to be as fit and healthy as you can be yourself, so that you can continue to do the work that you wish to do? You need to make enough money to be professional, to train, to have supervision, to pay for insurance, to offer a nice environment, and to present yourself well. You need to earn enough money to look after your health and well-being, and that includes your mental health, because a therapist who is stressed about finances is not going to provide the best service to their clients. But it goes further than that. If you make profit, consider what else you're able to do with that. Today, you have the opportunity to open your mind to the possibility of being profit able. So this is the Ethical Business Conference. How can we as therapists be in business, make money, and still be ethical? So how about we define what we mean by ethical? Now, you may have your own definition of ethical and what ethical business represents, and indeed everyone's own definition of ethical in any context will be different. But here's a few we found looking around the internet. The first one from Business Ethics blog. Okay, how about this? From businesscasestudies.co.uk. Okay, and this one from investopedia.com. Not so sure about that, to be honest. Be ethical so the public like you. Maybe this is better. From businessdictionary.com. But coming at this from a therapist and health practitioner point of view, we turn to the Hippocratic Oath for inspiration. Enshrined in the oath is do no harm, and we are sure that you will agree that this is an ethical intention. However, our wish is that you will want to go further, and there is a part of the oath that is not often mentioned that says, do good. Here at Rethink and Do, we would like to propose the following. An ethical business is one that does no harm and also does good. Do no harm to what? Do good to what? This is where the Rethink and Do business model comes into its own. Can we suggest that you aim for a balanced approach? Do no harm and do good with respect to your clients, your business, your health, and wider society, whether that's family, local, national, or international. Recently, we were introduced to Adam Braun, an inspirational young man with a vision and a purpose. One of the many things that he talks about that struck a chord with us was his dislike for the phrase not for profit, to describe organisations that don't distribute dividends to shareholders. Why? Because it starts with a negative, not for profit. Instead, he proposed that we use the phrase business for purpose, and that we make use of for-profit business skills and combine them with the idealism of not-for-profits to create something that matters. Often as therapists, our concept of business is that profit and ethical purpose are mutually exclusive. However, there is a better way. If we can bring those two circles together, the point at which they intersect creates a sweet spot that is simply delicious. Adam believes that for-purpose organisations are those that are succeeding in making money and solving social issues. They are doing no harm, and they are most definitely doing good. So how about we all decided that our purpose was to give of ourselves in some way that does no harm, does good, and in some way that is really meaningful to us. Now, in the conference, we used a number of examples of businesses that are doing just this, even in sectors that may appear at first to have very few ethics. In the banking sector, there is Triodos Bank. Triodos Bank is not the biggest bank in the world, but it's one of the most sustainable. They invest in people and businesses that contribute to a better world. For example, fair trade, farming, solar energy, culture, education, and healthcare. Their mission is to make money for positive social, environmental, and cultural change. They don't hide the fact that they need to be profitable, but maintain that profitable companies can still do right. Then there's media. Not many ethical companies here, but there's positive news. Media, but not as we know it. Positive News is the world's first publication dedicated to reporting positive developments, taking a solution-focused perspective on the challenges facing society. Their aim is to inform, inspire, and empower their readers while helping create a more balanced and constructive media. So what about food manufacturing? We've got Rubies in the Rubble. Rubies in the Rubble was established to create a first-class product from produce that would otherwise go to waste, with labour that would unlikely be employed elsewhere. They believe the more you put in, the more you get out. They source all their fruit and vegetables from surplus from the market before they're discarded. Their business model is based on a few core beliefs. Make use of what you have. Care about your resources. Embrace oddity. Pretty simple, really. And then there's the charitable sector. Back to Adam Braun. Pencils of Promise is the way that Adam Braun gives back to society. His charity is the very definition of a for-profit organisation, making money in an ethically businesslike way to solve a social issue. Their website states, Pencils of Promise is guided by our revolutionary for-purpose approach, blending the head of a for-profit business with the heart of a humanitarian non-profit. We rigorously measure the return on investment of every donor dollar we spend. Joy and passion are great, but results are what we're all about. With that in mind, I'd now like to just quickly say a big thank you to the speakers from the 2014 conference. We had Heather Noble of Salt Solutions, talking about 5 things your customers want to know before they buy. Renee Maguire of Raw Chi Food, sharing her moving and inspirational story. Sid Madge of Mad Hen delivered the keynote speech and covered most of the topics that we've just talked about. Fiona Cutts ran an interesting session on how to access your ethical wealth. And we finished the day with the gorgeous Georgina Jones of Bathing Beauty, sharing her story and inspiring us all along the way. So that's it for our quick summary of the 2014 conference. If you've gained new ideas, information, inspiration, then act on them. And then share them with colleagues and friends. Don't keep the good stuff for yourself. Remember that a candle doesn't lose its flame by lighting another.